Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning. And today we've got a combination that I'm definitely excited to see what it does, or more so what the choke can actually do with these shells. Because this choke has been a little bit picky so far with finding the right shell that really performs through it. There was some good performing shells that we fired through it that did not really do all that amazing. So maybe this shell today might be the right combo for this choke. I don't really know. We're just going to have to test it and find out. But as for the shell we've got here today, I brought out some more of the Verdict 410 shells. They are a 3-inch, 7/8 ounce payload of number 9.5 TSS shot, moving about 1,065 feet per second. And these shells have been decent performers so far for the most part, but these have kind of been a little picky as well with finding the right choke. So I'm hoping today's combo might work out, but there's still a chance that we might be a little bit disappointed with this pattern as well. And as for the setup we've got to run them through today, I brought out the Mossberg 500 410 turkey here with this choke, which is the Indian Creek 385 constriction turkey choke. And like I said earlier, it's been a little picky with finding the right shell for it. So I hope these Verdict shells do decently through it, but we'll see what happens. But as for the test today, everything is the same as usual. The turkey target is set up at 40 yards. We've got the chronograph as well, so we can get our velocity out of these shells. So let's head over here and take this shot and just see what kind of results we get out of this combo, because it really kind of could go either way. I hope it's good, but it could be disappointing as well, I suppose. But let's head over here and take the shot and just see what kind of a pattern it gives us. Alright, so that shell gave us 1066 through the chrono. The box claims 1065, so we're 1 foot per second above their box claim. So we are absolutely pretty much exactly where we're supposed to be as far as velocity goes. So definitely looking pretty good up here as far as our velocity is concerned. But how does our pattern actually look down there at 40 yards? Let's go down and take a look and see what we actually got. Alright, now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and this is what we got. And I gotta say, it's a rather interesting looking pattern, that's for sure. Now, we do have a dead turkey here. There are multiple right down the spine there that would have absolutely done the job. But I do think our main core area is a touch off to the right here. And if I were to just show you this pattern that's in frame right here, that's not too bad. Although it is a little bit splotchy, which we'll get to here in a second. That's not bad for a 410 at 40 yards. But if we back up and look at the whole pattern here, it's rather strange. We have kind of a elongated rectangle type of core area, and around it is just a ton of shot. I mean, looking at this paper here in person, this almost looks like a 20 gauge type of shot payload, I guess. It looks like a lot of shot on paper, but they are 9.5s, so it definitely would make sense to have more shot in the shell. The problem is we've got stuff literally everywhere here. Now, yeah, sure, it does give you a lot of leeway, but I mean, I don't like to see the sheer amount of shot just all over the paper here. That is a lot of it just sporadically placed all over the place. Now, our core area isn't bad necessarily. It is definitely hotter than the rest of the pattern. We do have a couple of voids in here. There's one right underneath of his beak there that I'm really looking at, as well as soon as we get around the edges of our actual core area, it does get a little bit more blotchy. So definitely not perfect. Yes, it's plenty good enough at 40 yards to take a turkey with, but I don't know. The pattern as a whole just doesn't really impress me. The core isn't terrible, but the rest of it, not really what I'm looking for. Now, they are 9.5s going through a 385, and smaller shot typically likes a little bit tighter of a choke, so maybe these might do a little bit better through a 380 or 383 or something like that. It's definitely a possibility. Now, is this the worst pattern we've seen out of the Verdict shells or that Indian Creek 385? No, I don't think so. So they didn't work out terribly necessarily together. But again, this still isn't the perfect combination for either the shell or the choke, I don't think. Definitely not exactly what I'm looking for out of my 410 pattern. So I'm kind of on the fence about this one. And I guess I'll have to leave it up to you guys as to what you think about it, really. It ain't the prettiest pattern, but technically, yeah, it would absolutely do the job for you at 40 yards. Okay, and here's the wad from that shell, and as you can see, it definitely laid open pretty far here, which has been a pretty common thing for these verdict wads to do, so it doesn't really look all that out of the ordinary for what these shells normally do. But the good thing is we don't have any pellets stuck down in the bottom there, which has seemed to be a common problem with 410 shells here recently, so that's definitely a good thing. And there's no rips or tears or pinholes or anything like that in the petals. They just opened up a little bit unevenly and peeled a little bit farther open, which could be part of the reason why we saw the outskirts of our pattern look the way it does. These Indian Creek chokes are typically a little bit rougher than some of your other chokes on the wads, so for going through an Indian Creek choke, this doesn't look that bad, and not really anything too strange that I would call abnormal. It looks pretty much run-of-the-mill for what these wads usually look like anyway. All right, y'all. Well, what did you think about that pattern there? It's definitely not terrible, and if we just looked at our core area, it wouldn't be bad. It's absolutely a 40-yard capable turkey pattern, but soon as you get outside of that basketball-sized core, it just kind of goes all over the place. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this. It ain't terrible, but it's far from the best 410 pattern we've had as well. So I guess I'll leave this one up to you guys. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think about it? Is that about what you expected, or were you a little bit surprised one way or the other? Have you tested the verdict shells or that Indian Creek choke, and have you seen similar results, or have noticed that both that shell and choke have been a little bit picky in their own rights? Let me know all that down below, as well as maybe what other combination might you want to see these verdict shells through, or what other shell might you want to see through that Indian Creek. Because although this combination wasn't terrible, I definitely don't think it is the perfect match. But I guess at the end of the day, if this is the setup that you had to work with, then yeah, you would have a 40-yard capable turkey setup. But as for myself, it's not quite exactly what I'm looking for out of my 410 patterns. But with that being said, I've got plenty more stuff coming y'all's way, so stay tuned. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.